Welcome back everyone. In this lesson we're going to look at the union operator. Now the union operator is used to combine the result from two or more select statements into a single output. This is usually done when you have multiple sources of comparable data and you want to view them in one single data set. For example, if you were to hold the names of employees in different departments on different systems and you wanted to bring them together into a single output of all employees, then a union would be an ideal scenario for that. But there are some conditions on how we use the union operator, so let's have a look at those. Firstly, we must have the same number of columns in each of the sources that we are unioning. So if you look at the example on the screen, Table 1 has 3 columns, Table 2 has only 2 columns. A union of those two will not work, because the address column in this case, in Table 1, has nothing to union with from Table 2. So that's an important thing to note. Also note that the column names don't necessarily have to be exactly the same. What's key is that the data type is the same. And that's the second condition that we have. That even though we have the same number of columns, the data types have to be compatible between the two or more tables that you are unioning. Note it's not enough for the data to look the same. For example, if age is held as an integer in one table, but a character field in another table, they aren't compatible. They'd both have to be either integer or both character fields. And the third condition that we have is that the column order has to be the same. That's because the data output has to be meaningful. You wouldn't want age data from one table to be unioned with address data from another table. So it's important to bear in mind those three conditions when we're doing a union. We'll have a look at some examples now in PGAdmin. So here we are in PGAdmin. Now I want you to imagine a scenario where Woodland Park Insurance Company has decided to bring together a list of all the names of not just the people who have claimed on their policy, but the people who actually have a policy. So irrespective of whether they've made a claim or not. Now the company will have a claim system, which we've been using, and a policy system for people who've taken out an insurance policy with them. And each of those systems will have a list of contacts. So in this particular scenario, what we're going to do, we're going to bring together the names of everybody who's got a policy with the company and everybody who's made a claim. Now we're familiar with the contact table in the claim system, but what you haven't seen is the policy system. Now we're not using the policy system in this particular course, but I can show you the table which holds the list of all the policy holders. So if we do a select on that, so if you look down the left hand side first, you'll see that I've got the policy system schema open there, and in there there's a table called policy contact detail, and you see various fields within that table. So we're going to do a select on that. Okay, so there are a list of all the policy holders within Woodland Park Insurance. All right, some of these have made a claim, so you will find some of these on the claim system in the contact table, because any claimant who's a policy holder would have their details in both that claim system contact table as well as the policy system contact table. So what we want to do, we want to bring together a list of all the names in the contact tables on both sides, both on the policy system and the on the claim system. and that's going to involve the use of a union operator. So the first rule that we have to remember is that we want the same number of columns from both tables. So let's decide what columns we're going to bring out. Now we're interested just in the names for the purpose of this exercise. So we see that there's a first name and a last name in the contact table within the policy system, and we know there's a first name and last name in the contact table in the claim system. Let's decide first that the columns we're bringing out are the first and last name from both tables. Secondly, we see that the data type for both the first and last name column is a character field of up to 50 characters for the first name and 30 for the last name, as you can see on the screen there. For the first name down, you see varying 50, and you see last name varying 30. And if we look at the claim system and bring up the contact table there, let's do a select from there, and you'll see the data types involved. You see there they are character fields as well. So we know that the data types are compatible. And the order is important, as we mentioned at the start of this lesson. So we're going to bring them out in first and then last name order.